Hello there, all you beautiful people. My name is Lebushki, and welcome back to another movie review. This time for the movie Backrooms. Now, I didn't really know what to expect from this. I was aware of the internet phenomenon, but I wasn't really deep into it in terms of like lore and love and wanting to know everything about it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting, and I enjoyed reading about it and learning, more things about it. But that was it. So when I heard that a movie was being made, I had to make a decision. Was I going to watch the whole thing? And when I say the whole thing, I mean look up every little bit of lore, watch all the Kane Parsons videos, try to figure out every single thing about it? Or would I go in fresh and quote unquote raw to experience it and all of its goodness for the first time? Well, I ultimately made the decision to go in raw and just experience it as it was, as its own separate thing, and then afterwards go into all the little bits of lore and whatnot. So, I'll say I really enjoyed it. I really did. It was very unique. Definitely felt like an A24 movie where it's kind of odd, but also good. A24 has a weird way of finding like the middle ground between those two. But let's get into this review. All the found footage sections were amazing. It was really cool to see what felt like dated cinema, if you will. I know Kane Parsons' older videos uh, utilized the found footage aspects, and those were really good. Once I saw the movie and started looking into those, it was really awesome to see because it makes it so much more scary in a unique way. Because then it feels more realistic rather than just a normal 4K horror movie. The found footage adds like a different layer of fear that makes it great. This movie also had fantastic eerie vibes. The liminal spaces, and this connects with the second or the third point, the fantastic eerie vibes and the impressive and iconic set design really kind of intertwine. The use of liminal spaces to create horror is really hard because yeah, it looks weird, it looks off, but it doesn't necessarily look scary. But everything else from like the fear to the sound design and to just the surrounding set design, all of that just transferred such a great vibe of terror. It felt wrong, it felt unnatural, and putting characters into that was just very well done because, you had simple areas, you had just simple hallways, but then you had the quote unquote, if you will, like the upside down version of the main character, Clark's furniture store. And all of that was just really cool ideas. And to have them put into film, into, like, an actual film rather than, like, Kane Parsons' short films, it's very fun. Very, very fun indeed. So, yeah, I think he really captured the effect that he was going for that he had in his previous short films in this full-length movie. Now onto a little bit of the cons. They have interesting characters, but I feel that they're pretty greatly underdeveloped. Don't get me wrong, they kind of have pretty decent, surface level development. Clark's kind of a failing businessman, an insecure failing businessman, and that's really about it. His two employees are in a relationship, and that's about it. Uh, I can't remember her name, but the lady who is literally on the screen right now, the therapist, she's just the therapist, and that's really about it. And so you don't really get much in depth behind the characters. You only really get to see into Clark's psyche. And that's just because he's basically the main character, and this whole movie kind of centers and revolves around him. So at least you get that, but still, I want to know more about the other characters. Because, whether or not they get killed off or they survive, I'm not going to say specifically what each character's fate ends up being. I want to feel that connection to them when they do live or die, when they succeed or fail. And all in all, overall, the 3 acts of the movie vary strongly in quality. The first act is good setup, it's solid, it's interesting, it grabs your attention, and the second act is phenomenal. That's where most of the found footage aspects come into play. It looks great, it sounds great, and it really ramps up the fear factor. And then the third act kinda it's alright. It's just it kinda goes downwards. The fear factor's kinda gone. It's still a little scary, but it's not as terrifying as the second act was. And they kinda use the third act, well, as you do, to wrap up the movie, and it's not the most flawless wrapping up. It feels kind of messy, kind of haphazard, and there's some things that Kane Parsons leaves un unfinished, unanswered. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I really would have enjoyed a more full circle movie in that regard, where I could have gone to the movie not knowing too much about the Backrooms other than the very basic lore and, having things for the most part answered. And, even having like a couple little questions, that would have been fine. But it kind of leaves quite a few questions, quite a few big questions that make the movie less complete. And, for some people, that may work. And for others, it doesn't. It didn't work for me, but for some people, I'm sure they were very happy with everything that they got. And I know there's a lot more people out there who are more embedded and drowning in the lore and their love of this uh, series, genre, if you will. And you know what? If they're happy, then that's good. I have no problem supporting this movie. It was great, still enjoyable, but not perfect. Overall, I give it a B minus, 70 out of 100. Like I said, really good, really interesting, really fun, just not perfect. And you know what? That's okay. Sometimes not every movie is going to be. But that is all I have to say. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed another movie review. Go see a movie in theaters. As always, movies are meant to be seen in theaters. So that's what you should do. You should go support them. Doesn't have to be this movie, although this movie's doing some good numbers in the theaters. So I recommend supporting this movie if you're up to it. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the playlist linked in the description below for more of my movie reviews. I hope you all have a wonderful day doing what you shall be doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take it easy. Peace out.